I think we're live. So I can say, oh, happy day. We are live, journeyers. We are live. I'm so excited. Welcome to the long awaited 2024 numerology forecast. How are you all doing? I'm looking here to see who may be in the chat. I don't know that I can because I've got my trusty, very capable moderator, Lori, who gets to see everything, and I'm not seeing much of anything. So I'm going to move over here. Who do we see? Who do we see? I don't know who's here. Anyway, I'm just going to say, hello, how y'all doing? I hope you're good. You guys, I'm so excited because we have been planning this for a long time. You may even have noticed that on my YouTube channel banner, I actually changed it because I was so excited to bring this to you. We haven't done a live stream in 2 years. 2 years. I'll be doing more in 2024. I promise you that. I want to say right off the bat, oh, I see people coming in. Awesome. Hello, Karen Murray. How are you from Harlem? Yay, I can see people. Before we get into it, we got a lot of stuff, and I'm going to introduce you to our special guest momentarily. But I do want to say thank you so kindly to Psychic Source, who partnered with me in putting this together, who lent us not one, maybe, I don't know if I can say the top psychic numerologist, but one of the top, because they've got such a beautiful catalog. But thank you to Psychic Source for helping me put this together. So we're here and we've got a lot to talk about. Did you like the title? What's in store for 2024? Really original. What's in store for 2024? In all seriousness, you guys, I think a lot. I think a lot. As we know, the last 3 or 4 years have been chock full of surprises and bumps and excitement and shifts of all kinds. I think we're in the middle of this incredibly but positive yet dichotomous situation. And so as people become more sensitive to what's going on, the fact that we are literally shifting our paradigm in myriad ways, they've become more attuned to the numbers, right? I know I have. I think, whether we're talking about angel numbers or the ancient art of numerology, numbers have invited themselves into our lives. And that's why I wanted to spend more time and will be spending more time talking about the numbers. We did a numerology end of the year forecast, or I should say for the following year, end of the year wrap up, and then going into the following year, quite a few years ago with Sharon Milstein. And then we stopped for a while, but I wanted to come back to it and really give a voice to this art that is very powerful from a few different perspectives. And so the one perspective, which, and I have a feeling she has several perspectives that we're going to hear from today. Her name is Amy. She is from Psychic Source, and we're going to bring her on right now. Laura, you can bring her on into the room. Miss Amy, how are you, my dear? So excited
I'm
to have you.
I'm so great, Alexis. Thank you for having me. How are you today?
I am just great, in spite of a little snafu that maybe we'll get into talking about what happened last night that kept me
Sure.
up half the night.
Oh,
Leaky
that's not good.
pipes, a
Yeah.
leaky ceiling that we just found out about. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. That's done
Yeah.
and over with, and I'm here now. Maybe there's some numbers associated with that. We'll get into that. Oh my God. Well, listen, let's get into it, Amy. I want to tell y'all we're going to spend about 90 minutes, maybe just shy of 90 minutes. I have some questions, obviously, for Amy. I want Amy to get into the basics of, because I know most of you know fundamentally what numerology is, but there are some nuances to it, and I know that there are different perspectives. So we'll start with some basic questions that I have for you, Amy, like what is numerology and how does it work? But I want to spend the majority of the time having you ask your questions for Amy. Amy, are you ready for that? Because I know you
Yes.
have your pen and paper or your pencil and
Yes.
paper, because people are going to want to know what their life path numbers are and how the numbers,
Yep.
their
Yeah.
particular number jives with the 8 year that we're about to go into.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to be spending the majority of time on that. So without further ado, let's get right into it, y'all, shall we? Let's start with the basics. What is numerology? More importantly, Amy, how does it work?
Okay, so numerology is an interesting this I started doing the study of this years ago. And it talks about the numbers, like different numbers. It goes 1 through 9, which is your cardinal numbers, your basic numbers. And then you have 11, 22, 33, 44, which is your master numbers, which is more of an ascend, older soul. But numerology is basically a vibration. It's like what you're going into, how you feel about things. It's a number patterning to me. So, like, for example, like we'll get into eight in a minute, but that's like a different kind of, energy, expression. And I know when I'm going into different years myself, because I've studied it so long, I can feel the vibration or the different numbers coming in. It can affect love, it can affect money, it can affect a career, it could affect a move as well. We'll go into that. But numerology is just a study of numbers and what vibration you're going into.
What vibration you're going into.
Yeah.
Before we go into the second slide, there's so many ways we can slice and dice the numbers,
Yeah.
and I just actually had on another excuse me, numerologist, who calls himself the numerovator. His name is King Simon, and I couldn't
Mhm.
help but kind of juxtapose his philosophy around numbers with what I anticipated you saying, because there are different ways of distilling
Mhm.
all of this. How do
Yes.
we reconcile that? Because there so many, I mean, he was talking about the duality of numbers, right? So
Yes.
you
Yes.
have a number and it may have a predominant theme, but it
Mhm.
also may have kind of a yin and a yang uh,
Yes.
aspect. So there may
Yes.
be what we perceive to be sort of not negative, but more of a
Uh,
I don't know how you would put it. Let's just call it a darker side,
yes. Yes.
influence, but also a very
Okay.
powerful side. How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, it depends on if you can accept your good parts and bad parts together. Everybody's got duality within themselves. So if you can accept the negative parts of yourself, which is sometimes what I feel, and I don't want to get too much into, too much flowery stuff that you're working on in this lifetime. Like, can we take a number that I think is
Sure.
negative? I don't like ones. Now, ones are independents, working with themselves, working for themselves, working on their own. To me, the duality of that would be narcissistic, self absorbed.
Hmm.
So, how are you going to reconcile that part of yourself into the positive is you accept parts of yourself, working on that. Maybe you're self absorbed, maybe your life path number is one, so you could work on maybe helping others with, on your own. It all depends, but I do not like wants.
You don't
I
like
don't know
them.
what it. I don't know why. Everyone I've met has been a pain in my rear end. I'm not a good
You mean people that
experience.
have the life path of a one?
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
There
right.
was a woman that I used to. She used to teach one of the athletic classes, and she was a wonderful woman, but she was, just very self-absorbed. You could tell that 'cause she would be dancing. It was Zumba. She'd be dancing. Everybody else is like, "What are we doing here? What about us?" you know, just an example. Just use an example.
You say you've always had an aversion to the number one. That was another question. I'm going to get right into it, and then we'll go into the second slide.
Sure.
When people say, "Oh, my favorite number is," like, my mother's favorite number was, well, it was really 333 because it was the
Oh,
Trinity. It had
yes.
reference to the Holy Trinity for her. But
Right.
people will tend, let me know in the chat, you guys, do you have a favorite number? I mean, even as a
Yeah.
kid, did you have a favorite number? And
Mhm.
if so, is there some sort of frequency connection
Yeah.
between whether we realize it or not, why we have that favorite number, even before we knew that there was a significance to it?
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So in other
Mhm.
words, let's say I'm attracted to the number 7 even as a kid.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about numerology then, but
Mhm.
come to find out my life path number is a 7, right? So might we be attracted to a number unbeknownst to us that there's a reason why we're attracted to that number?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we intuitively know things before we come into this lifetime, or we just know. I mean, I've had people, okay, for example, like astrology. I'm into astrology a little bit. So I'll know what's on my path and I'll call my astrology friend. And she's like, "You're right in tune with your chart because this is what you're supposed to be doing." And I think that's with numerology too. I think we just intuitively know what our life path number is, or our year path. That's just what that's just an example.
So it's the intuitive sort of
Yes, we all have the
instinct.
intuitiveness. It just depends on how developed it is or how much we want to develop it. I always tell my clients
Sure.
our intuition is like a muscle. We have it, but we have to work it. It's like
Oh,
once again,
absolutely.
going to a gym and building that muscle up if we choose to
Absolutely.
build our triceps up or biceps or whatever.
Far too many of us have let that atrophy. I think society unfortunately has indoctrinated people to not use that muscle,
Yes.
and I think we have
Yeah.
more and more that are finding the necessity. So that's another story for another time. Lori,
Yeah.
why don't we go ahead and put up that second slide? Okay, let's just get to the heart of it, y'all. We're going into a number 8, and a lot of people, Amy, have ideas about or associate the number 8 with infinity. And I've recently heard a little bit of retort against that. I'd love to get your opinion, but in basic numerology, what is the significance of number 8?
Okay, so 8 is abundance and prosperity. And like you mentioned, the last 3 to 4 years we've had our butts kicked, some of us financially, economic wise, and love wise too. So 8 to me is about finally the lessons we have learned over the last 3 to 4 years. We're going to reap the harvest of the 8. So it's like bringing in your harvest, bringing in those fruits of your labor, sowing what you've sown, coming back to you, whatever way. Maybe it's a relationship too. It doesn't have to be financial. It could be, okay, I've been single since the pandemic, and now I've been waiting and working on self, and now I'm attracting my person. It could be a number of different ways of looking at it, but that's what the 8 is for to me, is reaping that harvest, whatever lesson you've been learning.
Mm-hmm. What would be the more, I don't want to use the word negative. What would be the opposite of that? What would be the more pesky aspects or ominous or, of 8 if
I,
all numbers have duality?
I think overindulgence, I think too much of a good thing. Maybe we're just into, for example, maybe we're dating, maybe we have, I'm going to use the dating example because this is what I get on the lines all the time, working on psychic source. Maybe we've got 2 or 3 men that are what our qualifications are, and maybe we're just stringing them along and
Uh-huh.
not cutting one of them off or 2 of them off because we just enjoy their company. That's the self indulgence too. We could also be working a lot and just money, being greedy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, money's good. Don't get me wrong. The energy of money is great, but too much of a good thing is never good.
Indulgence.
Overindulgence, yes.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about the idea that 8 is associated with infinity when you see it on its side? Now, in tarot,
Mhm.
the infinity
Yes,
sign it's horizontal versus vertical.
right.
And I recently heard that originally the number it I hope I'm getting this right, you guys. Originally the number 8 was looked at on its side or was
Yeah.
drawn differently. I'm not
Yes.
really clear on the details of that, but
I
what
wouldn't
do
be surprised with the new with the symbology that we're going into as a collective human. We're learning the symbols, and I feel like infinity. It's once again, it's never ending. I think we're never ending as humans. As our souls too. I believe in past lives. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that the infinity symbol just represents what we came here to do. We're not There's no beginning, there's no end, it just is.
Mhm.
Gosh, I sound like I'm a guru today or something.
Ah, you are. We are all gurus. I'm looking
Yeah.
at Botanical Brother. Hello, Botanical. I love what you said. The 8 ball wins the game.
Oh, yes.
Very interesting. We look at the numbers that are a part of our culture in, lucky sevens and,
Hmm.
7-Eleven, the 7-Eleven stores. I don't know if you guys have it, but numbers that are associated with certain ideas in
Hmm.
culture on a larger scale. And you wonder whether the architects of those things, like who made the 8 ball, why was the 8 ball in pool considered the winning number? Is there significance to that? And do you think they knew those people sort of
Yes.
behind creating these things?
Yes, I do. I feel like that goes into ancient symbolism,
Hmm.
which I think is a culture we're all learning about again. I mean, one of the healing modalities I'm into, it does the ancient symbology about healing. And I think the infinity symbol, in some way, I'm sensing with these people, they knew how to, it helped them manifest their goals,
Hmm.
whatever that was.
Hmm.
That's what I feel. I'm just like I said, I'm channeling to today. So whatever they tell me, I'm just going to tell you.
You know what? That's I'm glad you brought that up. Amy and I, of course, were offline. Of course, offline doing a little. I was doing a little Not well, I was getting a little bit of information, let's say offline, as to her process and how it may relate to some of the numbers that I see. And she was doing a bit of channeling. Spend some time with the audience, letting them know exactly how you do this. It's not just by the numbers, right? Is it a
No.
combination of channeling?
Yeah.
What's happening when you're doing this?
I just feel the information. I have all the claries, clairsentience, which means I'm clear feeling, clairaudient, clear hearing, clear clairvoyance, clear seeing, clear cognizant. I just know. It just
Mhm.
comes to me. I've always been like this. And I had a client of mine recently ask me, how do you do this? And I said, it just comes to me. It's a part of who I am. I can't explain to you exactly what the scientific method is, but I can tell you that it's always been with me.
Mhm.
And it just comes to me like I'm just channeling. I'll say stuff to people I don't even know, and they'll be like, they'll stop me and they'll be like, "You told me this by X, Y, and Z," and I'm like, "I don't remember telling you that." Sometimes I don't remember what I'm channeling. It just
Right.
I'm shut out of the way. I'm like, they pushed me out of the way. Here I am, you know.
Sure. Right. Right. I want to Let's go to the third slide. I was gonna take a question because I have a feeling there are people you
Yeah,
know what? I wanna say this, because we wanna spend the bulk of our time having y'all have your questions
yeah.
answered. So, Lori, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Perhaps you all could do what? Thumbs up for a question? I think
Mm,
that might be the best way, uh, to get questions in, or I see a queue. We could do could let's do a thumbs up. If you have a question, y'all, and we're gonna start taking them shortly, just put a thumbs up next to your in the front of your question. That way we'll know that you have a question. I hope that's good for you, Lori. Let's see. We'll see how that works. Now we'll play it by ear. We're just friends having conversations. Let's see. Okay. You've already kind of gone into this. What is a predominant 8-year influence? And I believe you said abundance.
yes,
Um, It
and
could be couldn't it be an abundance of shite? An abundance of crap too, an
it could
abundance
be
of
too.
everything.
Well, remember the law of well, karma to me is like the wild card of the universe. You know, it could be good or bad. You know, you could get a lot of crap this year. You know, maybe you've been putting out crap, like, you know, and so you're getting back that like I said, reaping what you sow. Could be good or bad.
An abundance
You
of that.
yes, and you could be like I said, that selfish person who just kind of like I've seen this a lot lately with people that been reading with. They've treated people like garbage, and it's coming back to them
Sure.
karmically.
Mhm,
So that's what they're reaping right now.
mhm. I think that's been going on for a few years, frankly,
Well, it's going to
but
get worse for these
more intense.
individuals, yeah, who are unself-aware. I if you know,
Sure. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm assuming everybody in the chat, in the audience knows that when we refer to the 8-year, we're talking about the upcoming year, where essentially you're just adding up the 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4, bringing it down to a single digit, and you get 8. Let's talk about that a little bit when,
sure,
the years, and obviously it just stops at 9 and then we restart at 1. Maybe talk about that a little bit, just the whole process
yeah.
from a numerological perspective.
Okay, so it's a 9-year cycle. 9 is completion. Okay, so you reach your 9 year, you completed a cycle, and you start all over again with 1. So 1 to me, we just talked about that, you know, with the selfish Zumba teacher, you know, all about herself, but independent, working on your own. 2 is about partnerships. So when you're in a 2-year, you will attract a partnership, whether that's business or romantic. That's working well with others too. That's teamwork. That's diplomats. That's teachers, somewhat teachers, negotiators. Those twos
Mhm,
like to be even keeled. Okay.
mhm.
3, joyful expression. So you're expressing your creativity, you're expressing yourself, good or bad. I'm just doing an abridged version, by the way. If you
Mhm.
want me to slow down, let me know. 4 is about building security foundations. So maybe you're building on what you already learned from 1 through 3. Number 5, we talked about 5 before the show. Transitions, uh, transforming, just moving forward. A lot of times people will move in a 5 year. They will move physically or move through their career. It's like a lot of like bumpy road.
Hmm.
Okay. 6 is stabilizing. It's like you've been through the 5, now you're going into a like year. And that's what I'm coming out of a 6 year, which is harmony, love, balance. That's coming. But, so 7, questioning things. You're questioning all the lessons from 1 to 6. That's just what I feel. It's 1 to 6. You're questioning everything. Question everything. You don't know the answers. Sometimes more questions lead to more questions, right? 8, which is we're going into reaping what all the lessons we've had, abundance of prosperity, maybe it's love relationship. 9 is completion, completing those lessons. So that's the abridged version.
And
Just
again,
going,
thank you for that. And as I'm
yeah.
listening to you again, I'm thinking on all of those things. It's opposite or nuances even
Yes,
in between.
yes, yes.
Um, you know what? Because I have so many questions. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to y'all right now for some questions, and I'll pepper some in every once in a while.
Sure.
But Lori, I'm gonna have you do the honors and pick because I know we've got a lot of thumbs up. Got a lot of thumbs up. Peter Murray, shout out to you. Wink, wink. I see. I see 3 thumbs up there. You got 3 thumbs up, but no question. Oh, we got a question here. Live light. How are you? What are the learning lessons with 8? She asks.
The learning lessons is to take the good and the bad, whatever it is, and how you handle that really. Are you handling, so like with an 8 with our collective, I believe it could be, maybe it's about money, learning to the overflow and abundance. How are you handling that? Maybe you have debt. Are you putting it towards debt? Like I said about the men, or women that you're dating, whoever it is, how are you treating them? Who are you going to choose? I think the life lessons is about how do you handle the overindulgence? Are you balancing it out as you go through that year?
Okay, thank you for that. Hi, Mango K. Mango K, I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, Mango K. Does a life path number of 8 mean anything when a year also adds to an 8? Oh, I love
That's a
that.
very good question, and
Mm.
it magnifies the energy of your life path number.
So elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay, so it could be more in sync with your life path that year, particularly. It could also mean it's just double the fun.
Could be double the fun. Okay. I
Yeah.
want to stay on that for a moment before we Hi Eve, how are you? One of my patrons. I'm so glad
I
you're
love
here.
it.
So I want to make sure I'm clear on what Mango was asking because I think that was a semblance of what I was going to ask. So we're going into an 8 year. If somebody's life path number is 8, or there may be another aspect of them that can add
Yes.
up to an 8, right?
Yeah.
It could be their name for that matter. We can get into that.
Yes.
So what I think they were asking is, w- will there be a more potent influence of 8
Yes. So it magnifies to me when
that
you're
magnifies?
okay. So when you have a life path number of 8 and you're going into a personal year of 8 or a collective year, I believe that it just makes it that energy. Remember, it's about energy, it's about that expression, it's about that frequency, as you called it. I was trying to think of the name, by the way, my brain went, but it's like going into that frequency more and more and more in your
Mhm.
life path. Because really, we choose our life path numbers to learn lessons.
We choose our life
We
path number.
choose. Yes. Yes.
Very, very specific. We choose. Okay. Eve wants to know if you can explain what life path numbers are.
So it's taking your birth date with your day, month, and your year you were born and adding that up, and that you will get your life path number. So
Say
that's
that again. Say that again. Say,
okay. So it's your day and month, and then the year you were born.
would it
Not
be so? For instance, mine is 2000. No.
we don't.
Would you take all 4? Would you take all 4 digits of the year? Let's say somebody was born this year. Would it be 2023 plus the month and the day, or would it
Yes.
just be the? Okay.
Yes. So this was a 7 year. So whatever your the day and month you were born, you would add that up, and you would get your life path number.
Okay. Talk a little bit more about what they are, though. Life path. Um, yeah, what in terms of life path, is it the path that you're being drawn to, the best path that you should take? What how does the life path
Okay.
number govern your journey?
It governs your journey in a sense of what you choose to learn and what your purpose and passion is. Okay, I'll use myself as an example. Okay, I'm a life path number of 2, reduced down to 2. So I'm learning how to play nice with others. I'm learning teamwork, and I'm learning how to balance, be the peacemaker, and balance things out in my life. So that's what a life path. That's what I've chosen to do. Have I been successful? No.
We're all human.
I
It's
know
okay.
we're all human, but I'm like, wow. But that's what your life path number is. Now, let's go into a 3, for example. That would be your singers, your writers, those people who are public expressingly themselves, like politicians. Well, we don't maybe want to use that example, but that's a life path number of 3. They're learning how to express themselves in a healthy way, in a good way, or in a negative way. Depends on, who you're looking at here, you know?
I find it very interesting that I have this thing for, excuse me, the shape of numbers. So
Uh-huh.
you take the 8, that's perhaps where the infinity influence comes from.
Yes.
But when you take half of the 8, you split it up,
Mhm.
you get a 3. When you
Mhm.
think about it, you put a backwards
Yes.
3 together with a forward 3, you get an 8.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just the
Yeah.
way my mind works. By the way, Botanical Brother, I love that too. Thank you so much for the super chat. And I think you've got a question. Botanical Brother wants to know, what type of prominent energy does 2024 hold? I'm assuming you mean as that 8 energy, or, well, that's a good question. If you don't mind, Botanical, I want to piggyback on that because I'm looking at the last time we had an 8 year, which was 2015. And I wanted to look at some of the predominant themes, or not themes, but
Sure.
big events that happened,
Sure.
Amy. We had the Charlie Hebdo attack in Paris. Remember that? We had the big migrant crisis in Europe. And NASA made some major discoveries on Pluto and Mars. Those are events. So there was some energies going on there. So go ahead and put the Botanical Brother question up again. I want to see it and make sure that I'm piggybacking properly. So what type of prominent energy does 2024 hold? Would it be similar, I'm going to add, to other 8 years?
Um, well, you know, it, I'm gonna say depends what's going on astrologically too with the events. But I'm gonna say let's just stick with the 8 vibration. Okay, let's stick with the 2024. I've gotten the sense of a lot of people are either reaping the benefits of what they've been through the last 3 years, or they're starting to get their bearings again with finances, with love. Like I'm hearing the word rebirth. There's a rebirth of different people, what they've been through. It's like they're looking at things from a different perspective now with what they've been through and building upon that. And that's what 2024 to me represents. Okay, we've been through these lessons, these life-changing lessons, and now we're going to go forward in a different fashion and transform.
Okay.
I mean, that's just what like I said, I'm channeling. This is what I'm getting. They're saying this is something very different that as we as a humanity are going to go through, but it's going to
Well,
be good. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I've never gotten a bad feeling about 2024. I'm actually looking forward to it.
mhm. One of our regular guests, PMH Atwater, who is a
Oh,
brilliant astrologer and
no.
NDEer, 3 times
Yes.
NDEer, we had her on, Amy, back I think in 2020, the beginning of 2020, prior to the what hitting the fan, and she was
Yeah.
going through a very exhaustive sort of chronology of what she saw unfolding in the coming years. Now at this point 2024 was 4 years away, but she did say that she felt that there would be a predominant shift, paradigm shift in
Yes.
2024. Now I
Yes.
know that there are other channelers that have kind of agreed upon the year 2027. I think that time, you guys, is so fluid and so
Yeah.
malleable and
Mhm.
always subject to change. But there are certain energy signatures that I think certain years might
Yeah.
have. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
My guidance has, we are as a collective, as a humanity, as whatever you want to call it, I feel we're ahead of schedule. That's my sense. I feel that a lot of us have, I don't want to say awakened to, we talked about that, awakened. And I think we're ahead of schedule.
okay,
It's like a construction project. Sometimes you can be ahead of schedule to build that bridge over that,
I
body of
like that
water.
analogy. Yeah,
Well, down here, I'm in Florida, so we have the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's a very long bridge over water. And it's in the early '80s, a boat hit it, and they had to rebuild it, and all these people died. Blah blah blah. I get nervous getting over that bridge. Okay, but the construction of that bridge was very interesting. How it was like it had to go in phases, and I think as a humanity, The reason why I'm using that analogy is because we're going in phases now. We're ahead of this certain phase that we're reaching. I feel. I've noticed that recently with a lot of people. People I never thought would just get their heads out of their rear ends are getting it out. And I'm like, really?
Well, we use the term awakening here. Might we be sort of intimating that I
Yes,
mean, let's face it,
yes,
we've seen a lot of things go down of which we were
yeah,
oblivious to some
yes,
years before, and
yes,
many of us or many people are starting to come to the light of seeing things in a different way. So,
yes.
might I ask, is that what you're referring to?
One of the aspects I'm referring to.
Okay.
One of the aspects, because I think there's multi layers to this.
I agree.
And, I also do prophecy and I've seen things. And some of the things I saw 3 or 4 years ago are not going to happen because we as a collective are awakening. Thank God. I'll just say it would have gotten pretty bad there for a
Mhm.
while. And it didn't. It's like, I think we've as we're going along, we're making up our own destiny. This is the
Mhm.
first time as a collective we're doing that. So when we're going into this 8 year, like I said, it's reaping the lessons we've learned, good or bad.
Good or bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take another question. This is Live Light. Hi, Liv. Are you inferring this awakening as increasing our frequencies and
Yes.
ascension as individuals and planetary? I'm
Yes.
glad you brought that up. That's
Yes.
important.
Yes, I am. That's what I'm referring to because this has been my life path to help people awaken to themselves and who they are. And numerology is just one of many tools that a lot of us have. Okay. Because not everybody's going to resonate with the tarot or the astrology, but numerology, everybody knows numbers, right?
Well, we're going to
Yeah.
talk about that. Mm.
Yeah.
Let's
Hmm.
talk about that now. Who wants to talk about angel numbers? Who wants to talk about angel numbers?
Ooh.
And it's so funny. I never even used the term Amy angel numbers until recently. Really, angle
Yes.
numbers,
Well,
angles of light. Let's talk about it. Here's
yes.
my question, and I hope I'm asking this question on behalf of at least some of you in the audience. We are being barraged by numbers
Hmm.
lately. When I
Yes.
say lately, this has been
Hmm.
going on for quite a few
Yeah.
years. We could talk about 1111, but it goes far deeper than that. It could be just a number that you see on a consistent basis that may not be a number that is a
Yeah.
double digit. But
Right.
the bottom line is something is inviting us, I feel, to engage with the language of numbers and will not relent until we start to pay attention. What's
Yeah.
going on? Why is this happening now?
I feel like because we're awakening, I feel like we're becoming more self-aware as people. People like I said that never got their heads out of their butts are getting it out now, and they're becoming more self-aware. I know. Sometimes I put things like that, but
That's
that's
okay. You're allowed.
well, you know what it is too. The visual I get from my guides, literally, the heads up the rear end, and that's what they show me, and that's a very weird image I get when I see that. But I've seen people just be like see like pay attention to the symbols, the numbers. I've never seen this in my lifetime. It's like people are like, well, I keep seeing these numbers, or I keep seeing this name, or I keep seeing this, or I see this. Like, we could go into animals too, or birds, and I'm like, okay, so that's what I've studied over the last 20 some years,
Mhm, mhm.
and but now people are paying attention because they're supposed to, they're meant to.
There's something
There's
very
something bigger going on.
powerful
Yeah.
happening.
There's
Absolutely.
something huge going on here, and I love
Yeah.
it because I think that we are going to raise the vibration of the planet so high that it's going to really help us go into this next phase, which is going to be awesome. I mean, I've seen my visions are getting like wonderful. Like, people won't be sick with cancer anymore. People won't be they're going to live a longer time. We're not going to look our ages, we're not there's it's going to be such a different, the planet's going to be cleaner, life's going to be better, we're going to be more self-sustaining. This is where we're going into as a humanity. We're going to be exploring more planets and galaxies.
Well, there's certainly some groups on planet Earth that want to see all those things happen. I'm going to play devil's advocate and say the means by which they're trying to do it. I don't know if I agree with though, but all of
Well,
those
I
things.
understand. I understand. That is part of the old paradigm, though, that crazy fanaticism. That's part of the old
Absolutely.
paradigm that's going away. We can, as a humanity, we are so, if we stay hooked up to source, God, universe, which is where I think that's what we're doing. We're being reconnected in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
we're learning the numerology, and that's why there's this renewed interest in it. I don't know if I go off. You just tell me, Alexis, and I'll just shut up.
No, I think look, it's a deep subject, and
Yes.
tackling this subject at a deep time. I'm going to take I'm going to take a Peter. I'm going to take a Peter right now. I'm going to take a question from Peter. Hello, Peter, my dear. Here, his question is, can you determine what's in store for me in 2024? So I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you do this without Peter giving you any more information? Can you just kind of vibe
Okay.
into his energy as it
I
is?
feel with his energy, I see a lot of movement. I see a lot of transportation movement. I feel like he's going to be moving through many cycles. I feel also he's going to, Peter, money is going to start changing for you in March in a good way. I just see a lot of movement, a lot of movement. I love it because I don't know, I'm being shown like a truck that keeps just moving, barreling through things. Like
Okay.
nothing will be difficult for him in 24. And watch what your intentions are, Peter, because I feel like keep your mind on the positive because I feel like you can attract negative too. Watch your thoughts, guard your thoughts. So everything's about intention. So whatever you want to accomplish, I see your money really improving by March.
Oh, that's
Uh,
fantastic.
I
Excellent.
want you to keep that focused. Don't get the doubters or the creepers or the haters or whatever come into your mind, okay? Because we all have them. God, it took me 40 some years to get my mother out of my mind. I could hear her. You have to work on that. That's part of this 8 year is working on what do you want to accomplish? What reaping, sowing, in your harvest. What do you want to do here? But I would,
Right.
yeah. March looks really good. Aries, man, darn, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
You,
Listen, y'all, I want to take this opportunity again to say thank you so much to Psychic Source, but I also want to give you a little bit of a goodie that they gave me. I'm going to pass it on to you if you're interested in getting a reading. I know Psychic Source, Amy, has set up this pretty cool deal, and maybe Lori can put a link. So if people are interested in getting a 30-minute reading, you can get it for 66 cents a minute. And
mm-hmm.
that's a good deal from what I've
Yeah.
seen. So, and I think it's just for the live stream. I think it's a pretty short window. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how long, but go ahead and put that link up, Lori, if you have it. So people, particularly after you did that little mini reading, I love the way you can just tap into a name and, you know, get the, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? Uh, Without seeing, I don't know if you were able to see Peter's
Uh,
avatar or is it his name? Where are you getting the information from? How are
it,
you procuring it?
it depends. I tune in different ways. If you have a reading with me, I do not only numerology, but I can do names. I can do names have a vibration, by the way.
Let's
It's
talk
the
about that for
name.
a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So, the name has a vibration. It has like there's certain names that I don't like because I know first off there's a negative influence around them. And I'm not going to tell you the names, but if I see that name and I feel that vibration and I go with the voice vibration too if you call me or if you chat with me, whatever, I tune in all different ways. But I just the name of Peter was like, I don't know, I just tuned into it. He's a really nice guy, I feel. He's a
Mm,
really good guy. I felt like a very giving guy and he was just like I could see this big heart, you know,
love it. I
you
love
know.
it.
So that's how I tune in. It just comes to me. I mean, I don't know.
Hard to put words. Absolutely.
It just
Well,
comes.
it's interesting. So many people are doing this sort of divination type work or
Yeah.
spiritual uh, consulting work at a distance now, and so that
Yes.
capability is obviously there. I mean, heck, you're doing phone readings. I know is that the primary way Psychic Source does their readings. By the
No,
way, it's
no,
not.
they do chat, they do video,
Oh,
and they do phone.
I love it.
Okay, so they are a really great platform because their technology is phenomenal. And I've
That's
worked on
great.
different platforms.
Right, right. Oh, look at Karen Murray. Shout out, Karen. I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you a little secret, little secret. Karen and Peter, I know them very well. I'm not gonna go any deeper than that, but I know them. We're gonna talk offline, you guys. I'm so glad you're joining. Amy just found a place on my daily
oh,
gratitude list from
thank you.
Peter. And then you could put Karen back up because I know she had something to
Oh,
say.
thank
What
you,
did
Peter. Oh,
You're absolutely
yeah,
correct about Peter. He's
yeah.
my brother. I love
You,
it.
yeah, Karen's got the strength. She's got a lot of inner strength. She's the one that keeps everybody in line, I feel,
Uh-oh.
in a good
Okay.
way.
Let's put up another question. I know that there are plenty. Here's Eve again. Hello, Eve.
Hi.
Eve, by the way, and I'm going to shout out Eve. She is a patron of ours. You know, Eve, we were
Mhm.
talking about you on over on Patreon the other day in a good way. We were also talking about numbers. So if I were you, I'd go watch that after show from last week because we were talking about Eve in a good way. So on to the question. Does your life path number influence how 2024 will play out? I think we got
Yes.
that
Yeah.
before. Okay.
Yes. But that's okay because it's sometimes it's about the lessons. So the 8 will magnify things, but also your lessons, but also I believe it just your life path number, which you came in to learn. I just feel like it's a magnification,
Mhm.
of your life path. It all
Mhm.
depends. Like I said, there's more to this, but we're just giving you like a bridge version of it, surface level.
Okay. And I would also suggest, guys, if you happen to know, well, you can do a little bit of math and figure out what your life path number is. Maybe put that in the chat and we can bring it up. And if you have
Hmm.
a specific question associated with that life path number and how that would play into the 8 year, that might be a way we can take a question.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Hunabku 13. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah. Her name's Victorina. Pretty
Oh,
name.
Victorina. We have another patron here. Hey, Vic. I didn't know your avatar was who. How do you say that? Hunapku 13. Vic, how are you?
Okay.
She wants to know, will I fulfill my mission
Yes.
slash goal in 2024?
Yeah. So I get the number 5 here. So I feel like the last 5 years you've been working on this goal. Yes, you will. I feel it's going to be later in the year though, and I'm getting like October-ish time frame. But yes, you will in 2024. It's going to be kind of like slow going in the first 3 months of 2024. Then it picks up. It's like a freight train. It's going to pick up real fast. But then you're going to feel better in October of 2024. I can tell you that
I love
you're on the
it.
right path. Yeah.
Good people. Shout out to the patrons for joining us, by the
Yes.
way. And I'm not going to be shy about saying there's room for more if you want to go on over to Patreon. We're not going to be doing an after show because we are doing an extended live, but go on over. We've got a great catalog over there, and we're a community. We're a family over there. So there is a link I believe there's a link in the description if you feel so inclined to join us on
Yeah.
Patreon. Okay, Liv is back, and she has a question about her
Ooh.
life path number 3.
Okay. Expressing yourself in a healthy way, which is what we talked about. Life path numbers are creative expression. We talked about how if you're a writer, even an advocate or whatever, you are going to the life path number. To me, when I read it, it feels to me like finances won't be an issue with whatever you want to accomplish with your expression. I like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I got chills with that.
Excellent, excellent. How can each person is there you're giving like a little thumbnail, but if they wanted to, aside from of course getting a reading with you, but let's say they take this theme. Now, obviously, you guys, you can come back and watch the replay so
Hmm.
you know exactly what Amy had to say to answer your question. How might they further explore your your prognostication for them? How might they further explore that? I really like the idea, you guys, of people being proactive with the information that they get,
Yes.
not just sitting and going, I'm waiting. What can we do to not instigate, not push, not pull, but become proactive in seeing to it that something like this or better comes to fruition?
Well, it comes down to intention, I feel. What is your intentions really? I always tell my clients, write it down, just expand on that, like we talk about the money situation. Maybe you want to make a certain amount of money. Write it down. Write down your intentions, your goals, and really work on that. Work on them a little at a time. I don't know if that's answering your question, but that's That's how I would benefit. That's how I would do it if I was going into an 8 year, which I've already done. I've already written down my goals. I
Right.
focus on each one of them. And I would just work on that. Just, keep working on that because that 8 vibration is going to be with us till the end of 24. And then we go on to a 9 year, which will be another interesting one, I
Absolutely.
think. Yeah.
Hi, Wahifa. How are you? Good to see you. We
I
know
will.
Wahifa well, or Wajipa. I always say Wahipa. I'm
Ooh.
sorry, Wajipa. I wonder where Wajipa is. Where are you these days, my dear? Put that in the chat as well. In the meantime, I'll have Amy answer your question. A 9. Oh, and you're going to be going into a 9 year next year. What does that mean for me in 2024?
Okay,
8,
so it
9.
means completion goals. You're 9, so you're completing some financial goals. I feel, and it's just benefit from reaping that harvest. Take that 9 vibration and complete whatever you need to. Use it for the 8 year for you. For some reason, they're saying you need to use that next year for yourself. And I love the name, by the way. It's pretty.
Wajipa.
Oh, Ajipa's beautiful.
Wajipa, and she's beautiful as well. So glad you're joining us. Let us know where you
Ooh.
are. I know you're not stateside, but let us know where you are. Where in the world are you? Liz, hello, Liz Atwell.
Oh, pretty
She's
Liz.
also number 9.
I love
A lot
it.
of
Yeah.
nines here.
And I would say, wow, you are a very spiritual person, Liz. I love that. You're very spiritual. I want you to work on your spiritual goals because I feel like there's some things, they're saying something with the angels. I want you to just work on your spiritual goals and the finances will pick up. It's weird. It's like you start with the your spiritual side, the finances pick up, your life picks up. But you got a lot of beautiful souls, Alexis. You really do. I
We
had,
have a beautiful
oh,
audience.
I
Amsterdam.
love it. I love it. It's
Amsterdam.
great.
She's a traveling woman. She's all over the world.
I
Good to
she's awesome. She looks like she can
She's
be
a beautiful
so calming,
person.
but she can be a lot of fun too, man. She can be a lot of fun. She could be the life of the party.
I love it. I love it. Isabel,
Ooh,
I have just dropped in. Is it birthday number? If so, 4 is my number. I'm at a crossroad in my life at the moment. Have no idea where I'm heading. That's a pretty heavy one.
that is a heavy one. So when people come to me like this, I always say, okay, where do you feel like you're stuck? And I feel like relationship wise, you're kind of stuck on things. Use the 8 year for yourself because you're a 4, you have a foundation. So 4 is our foundation with anything, building a house, you have a foundation. We don't have basements in Florida anymore. We used to. It's like building on that foundation. I want you to build on what you've already learned, honey, because you have such a beautiful heart. And I want you to just kind of be with yourself right now. I don't know why I'm just feeling like be with yourself as a 4 and just use the 8 vibration just to work on your goals yourself. That's my sense, honey. And you said you're stuck. I really don't believe anyone's stuck. I think we all have our gauges, but what is it you really want out of your life? That goes back to you. What do you want to accomplish? What do you really want? Where do you feel stuck?
It's interesting as I'm kind of looking at her number. So she's a 4. Is that,
Yes.
yeah, Lori, also, I'm going to ask you if you could keep the questions up just a little bit longer because some of them are very kind of intense and I want to just really focus in
Yes.
on them. So just leave it up. Yeah, just
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much. So she's a 4
Mm-hmm.
going into an 8 year. Would
Mm-hmm.
there be any connection or process by which if you take half of 8, it's 4?
Yes.
4 goes into 8 twice. Do you know where I'm going with that? Is there
Yeah.
some configuration there where are you halfway there?
Yes.
Halfway to the
She
8.
is. I
You know what
feel
I mean?
I didn't mean to cut you off, honey. I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Um, no, it feels to me like you got to give yourself more credit here, Isabel, because you're already there. You're looking at what you don't have. What do you have? And build on that foundation. Like I said with the house, build upon that house. Okay, you already have the foundation as a 4. What do you want to build upon with or what you already have? Since you're right, Alexis, she's halfway there. Actually, I think she's 2/3 there. She's just got to look at what she wants to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And what area in your life do you feel you're stuck? And go from there.
Absolutely. I'd love to know, Isabel, what 2020 was like for you. And I ask that because
Mhm.
that was a 4 year.
Yes.
And I do think, Amy, that there's probably more of a connection than we give credit to for
Mhm.
the life path number and the year that we're in at a given
Yes.
time being the same.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
probably some mirror influence. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, there's so
Yeah.
many different
Mhm.
fine, nuanced associations with these numbers, but I think you can craft them kind of any which way you
Yeah.
focus on,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying, it's about intention. What do you wanna focus on? What do you want? I mean, that's getting back to Isabel's question, what does she want? Where does she feel stuck? Because I would say if you take that stuck, being stuck out of it, look at how far you've come in that area. It's just that you don't feel like you're reaping the results that you want to. By the way, by June, honey, Isabel, you're gonna get out of this cycle you're in, and you're gonna feel a lot better about things. You're gonna feel more grounded.
It seems as though people have been uh, in such very hmm,
Con-
tenacious cycles,
Oh
s-
yeah.
cycles that are
Yeah.
elongated, that are
Yes,
lasting so long.
yes,
They're
yes,
heavy, they're cumbersome. Not
yes,
for everybody. Look, I mean, look, there are many people that are having fantastic cycles. Cycles are not a bad thing, but nonetheless, cycles of which we're all in. This planet is a cycle. This whole I
yeah,
believe existence is one grand cycle.
yeah, mhm,
Um, but it seems like the cycles are very exacerbated. They're very
yeah.
long and sluggish. I don't know what word to use, but
Yes, they are. I mean, I could tell you that I feel it's a lot of astrological influences as well with people, and I had my own chart done last year, and I was like, I went through a horrible cycle. You and I talked about my fourth near death experience in September. I mean, that
mhm.
was something that I would never go through. I don't want to go through that again.
Of course
You
you
know?
don't.
But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like that cycle, that planetary aspect stopped September 30th. I was like, oh. So it all depends on not
So
only
many
on
other
the
influences.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Well,
so many influences. Yeah.
let's talk about the fact that y'all know what it is right now, right? We just entered a Mercury retrograde about
Oh.
3, 4 days ago, just to end off the year with a I'm not gonna say a bang. I'm just gonna say end off the year with
Well,
a
well,
wallop.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the Mercury retrograde started December 13th, so we're a week
Mhm.
into it.
Or a weekend.
And yeah, we're a week in. We get
2
out
weeks
of
to
it
go.
January 1st or 2nd, depending on who you talk to. I've
Yeah.
talked to a couple different astrologers. No, it's the second. No, it's the first. I'm
Well,
like,
the
look,
influence of the
yeah,
retrograde, it's potent, so it can have
yes.
effects on the
It
front end or the back end,
it
actually.
depends. It depends, and it also depends where Mercury is in your astrology chart. I was born during a
Absolutely.
Mercury retrograde,
I
so
was as well. I was
yeah.
born during a Mercury
Yes,
retrograde, and I'm a Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury.
yes,
So,
yes. It
yeah,
all depends on what's influencing, what house it's in. Some retrogrades, I don't even know what's going on except when my cable goes out on my internet, my
absolutely.
phone
I
line
can
drops.
typically tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
all
could
you could tell. And there's other times where you're like, why does this keep coming up? It's like an X or something. Um,
right.
I wrote an article years ago about why can't my X be X'd out? You know?
I love it. I love it. Oh my god. We had a question that flashed up and then went away, Lori, if you could put that back up. "You're welcome, Isabel." She says, "You're
Ooh.
welcome."
Ooh, you're a master number 22.
Misty, yeah, life path number for 22, master number, and 5.
Learning how to the 22. Okay, so let's explain a little bit about astrology. Some people, numerology, I'm sorry. Master numbers 11, 22, 33, 44. Now, with Misty, she's a 22, which is a master number, and she's learning with the knowledge she's had from past lives. 5, how to deal with change. She chose change as a master. She wants to, like, she's mastering change in this lifetime. That's what that tells me. And fives also, they're transformative. It feels like you want to go to a 33 life path, is what I'm hearing.
How could she do that? How would you do that?
Just going through this lifetime, mastering the lessons that are presented for her with change and transformation. That's what her life path. I'm dumbing it down. I'm being real simplistic with that. But when I look at that, she's had some heavy cycles in her life too. Like, people think when you're a master number that it's all easy. No, you are in the PhD program of Earth, girlfriend. You are in a PhD program. You are not in the master's program, the bachelor's program. You are in the PhD. And sometimes you are presenting your thesis like maybe 5 different times here. You know, that's how I view it. My guides have shown me the classroom of Earth is quite interesting. About the different souls. But that's what I feel like. You're a master number of 22, so you're learning how to do transformative and change so you can go into a 33 by going through this lifetime. And I have a feeling though you're coming out of some nasty cycles as you get into. You're not going to be done with them until you're about into 2025. There's that 5 again.
2025.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense? Does that resonate,
I hope
Misty?
that makes sense to you, Misty, because I'm just channeling here.
Okay. A lot of vibes popping up. Hi, Christine. She says,
Ooh.
I am a 5 life path and 8 is predominantly in my birthday. Address. Love it. Address, I think, is
Yeah.
important,
Yes,
etc.
it is. Yes, it is. Yes.
So it's my favorite number. My life is at a point of a cycle ending with work, spirit, family, and love. What can you tell me about 2024?
Mm-hmm. Planting new seeds, new career cycle, especially. You got a lot. You're going into a new career cycle, Christine. You really are. You're going to be very successful. You've reaped the benefits. That's what I'm saying. Some of the people I'm reading here, they have done their time. Now it's time to enjoy.
That's fantastic.
But with Christine here, I feel like she's going into a new career cycle, and she's going to see that by April. She's going to feel that by April and August. There's an 8 there, number 2, which the 8th month of August is very significant. Very significant. Now, with the other aspects, you already have the spiritual side. You're very spiritual from what I'm sensing here.
Oh, everyone in my audience, and I don't say that lightly, they're heavy spiritually
I can
centric.
sense that.
No
I can
question
sense
about
that.
it, which is
Yeah. Yeah,
fabulous.
but I mean, I can sense that. Like, there's like this, like I'm talking to my soul tribe when I'm on the show today. It's awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. We love you
Yes.
guys. You know that.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be doing this live stream. I mean, I just have to say again, I'm going to do it more often. It's been 2 years. It's a different, definitely a different energy. It's always great to put something together for you all. Just to digress for a minute and have it ready for you, but having everybody in the room, I feel like we're all together and we can chat. So that's great.
Aww.
Hello, Soul Tribe. Absolutely. AKA Journeyers. Y'all are Journeyers too.
Yeah. I love
Listen,
it.
let's talk about. I'm looking at the time. We have a good 30 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. Let's
Yeah.
talk about, Amy, um, specific colors, symbols, or rituals associated with the number 8.
To me, the
Color.
number, yeah, the number 8, to me, the colors, I get orange, attracting new things, being more out there. I love that. It's like the yellow just came right up for me.
Uh-huh.
I love that for the 8th. It just, and then what was the other one? I'm sorry, I'm just channeling here my brain.
Symbols. Well, I think,
Um,
there may be sort of a um I don't know, sort of a what am I thinking of? A manual or
yeah,
some basis for
there might
symbols that have
be.
been typically
This is what my guides are saying. These are our interpretations that we're seeing, the yellow and
Mhm.
the orange. Yellow represents, there's yellow and orange.
I
Very
could see
interesting.
that too. I could I'm a synesthete, so I tend to my senses are kind of crossed. So days of the week are colors for me. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I vibe with the orangish
The
in with
orange,
it.
yeah, and the yellow is more about vibing, like calming down the orange. Just kind of it's like a balance. We talked about the infinity symbol. I think that the yellow balances out the orange's energy. It's just because orange to me is very aggressive sometimes.
Mhm.
So yeah, yellow will just calm it down a little bit.
Mellow it out a little bit. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And the animals, you know, animal, well, I get a butterfly for a lot of us transforming, like the orange monarch butterfly.
Interesting. That's a very
Yes.
interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, let's talk about the collective a little bit. Again, we
Sure.
touched on this. We touched on this earlier, just the
Sure.
things that are going on that are drastic changes that most of us, if not any of us, have seen in our history as humans that
Yeah.
we are in the midst of right now. Do you sense any, not a specific event, but in terms of events that will be experienced by the collective on the global stage? Do you get a sense that will be, and they're always global events. It seems they're coming by the day. But what is your sense in terms of the energy around
Okay.
larger events? Not necessarily bad or good, just big.
What I see happening is a humanity, us coming together more and rising against those who have tried to, I'll say, oppress us. I see a lot of people coming together for a common goal.
Could we call it revolt?
Yeah, my friend would call it the rebellion. Yes, yes, and I've seen that. But you know how I talked about the earlier visions I had? I got the revolt being very bloody. I don't see that anymore. I feel like there's more of us that have come together than has been planned. I'll say it like that. And I feel like that's what's going to scare the individuals or entities or organizations that are trying to oppress us. And I don't see that happening anymore.
Mhm,
It was getting bloody, my visions for a while there.
mhm.
My clients are like, whoa.
So,
'Cause they've
so
asked-
many people were having, and still are, frankly. I think so many more of us have tapped into, whether it be through the dreamscape or through just visions, synchronicities of playouts of different
yeah,
events that are very, very powerful and impactful. And I don't know. Another question I'd ask everyone in the chat: how have your dreams been? What sense are you getting? Yeah, that's the
yeah,
other thing. Let's not underestimate ourselves, you guys. And I know Amy is phenomenal, and I think she would back me on this, that one of the things that I would suggest that we all work on in 2024 and going forward is to really start to hone our own skills in this area, because they are there. They're
yeah,
innate in us, and really making it
yeah,
a point to try and harness that and tap that.
yeah,
And I would
yeah,
ask, going into this 8 year and beyond, the 9 year, and then the 1 year after that, if we were to do things like meditate on a number, let's say we meditate on the number 8 and we meditate on the intention of drawing from it the power of it,
mm,
aligning with it, making an intention to align with it, can it become an ally? In other words, can we get involved in the process, not just sit and say, okay, it's the 8 year, let it be what it's going to be? What
yeah.
can we do as individuals to really work with that number?
Well, it's about intention. It's about what do you want to accomplish and focusing on those goals and keeping it positive as well. And I believe we're co-creators with the universe, and whatever we focus on is what we're going to get. And I think as our vibrations, as if some people call ascension, I think the more positive and the more focus we can be on, the more we can like get what we want and help other people as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
know, and I do feel like we're going to have events too that are going to be kind of surprising, by the way, in a good way.
Say one more time.
I think we're going to have events that are positive instead of negative. I don't know
That
why I
would be
keep
great.
getting that. I keep getting that. And
Well,
also,
I think it's in our hands. I
I
certainly
think
think we have the means to do it.
we
Yeah.
have it. We've seen it. We can do it. We've come this far. We're going to be going further. And I think we're going to become what they call more self sovereign, more within ourselves,
Mhm.
our captain of our own ship, and not worry about the disinformation that we have out there. And that's where our intuition comes in, Alexis, because our intuition, we have to listen to our intuition and we have to decipher, does it resonate with us? Is my discernment okay this way or that way?
Mhm.
And that's how you can
Well,
exercise your intuition as well.
discernment is in short supply these days. I certainly
Or
hope that more people
yeah,
decide to use it. So
or common sense is not common, as I've noticed.
that's right. That's right.
All
Oh,
I'm gonna say.
Well, I think that we're all different and we have a different way of processing. But again, we have more people awakening. I don't even like really using that word, becoming
Yeah,
aware and becoming
becoming
more
self-aware. Yeah.
sensitive to the environment around them. I saw a kind of question comment from Karen. I wanted to know if Lori could put that back up for us because it's kind of going by. There we go. Karen says, my life path number is 3. I'd love to shift into a new career cycle, but still in the creative realm. Do you
Oh,
see that happening in 2024 for me?
now what's interesting with your life path number 3, you're very expressive. You know, Peter's lucky to have you as a sister too. I love it. You keep them in line sometimes. I think that's what I get. But you're a sweetheart. New career cycle starts for you actually the 4th month. And I feel like you're still going to be creative in this new career. I feel like your creativity, I see it like overflowing for you. I see it like really being utilized and appreciated. And that's what the 8th cycle too for you, Karen, is going to be people appreciating you more for what you bring to the table without you doing much of anything.
That's great.
I love that. It's like I see you baked all these cookies, for example, and people are like, "Wow, you're really I always love your cookies." And you're like, "Why didn't you tell me that a couple years ago?" You know, and that's what I see more appreciation coming for you, honey. You're an awesome, you do have a lot of creativity. I feel like also something with writing is going to be very important. Writing is going to be very important for you as we get into next year as well.
I love it. I hope you love it too, Karen. We'll
Oh,
be
I love
talking later for sure. Oh my God. Let's see. Oh, Gogo, how are you? I'm seeing Gogo. Greetings, Alexis. Merry Christmas from Croatia. How are you? I haven't talked to you in a long time. Of course, we haven't been
Ooh,
live in a long time. I hope all is well for you in Croatia. Do you have a question? Gogo, Gogo. Do you have a question? If you do, put it in the chat. Lori, why don't we put up a few more questions? We still have some time. Uh-oh. Karen's got chills. I love it. Okay. Is this Victorina? Vic, is that you? I think it is. Um, she says, will we experience an uptick? I'm so glad you brought this up because I
yeah,
was going to bring it up too.
yeah,
Amy, I don't know if you know, if you're familiar with our show here, but we do a lot of talking about the very
yeah,
real and very profound idea of contact with non-human intelligence. I do a lot of work in this area,
I
and
love it.
this is something I'm glad you brought it up, Vic. I was going to bring it up. Will we experience an uptick in contact and
Yes,
experience with contact?
yes, we already are. We already are. There's going to be more. And I get the number, I get July as being very significant around this. And this is where we talked about there's new technologies that have been held back from us. And we're going to experience those technologies next year. But I'm getting July. There's a significant event that's going to really shake some of humanity to the core. But I feel like, yeah, we're already going through disclosure. We're
I was
already,
just gonna say the D word has gotta come up, and of course, there's
yeah,
a lot of tongues wagging as to what that constitutes. We know that this has been a really heavy year this past year
I'm
in
sure
terms
get
of
worse.
I don't know if I would call it revelation as opposed to just I'm gonna say more of an agenda as far as our human, the human iterations of what is going
Yeah,
on and to what end. But,
yeah,
I think what Vic is asking is actual not well, she's
yeah.
talking about contact. Vic, are you talking about, um, encounters? Are you talking about individual encounters? What if you could clarify
Yeah,
in the
please.
chat?
Yeah,
Because,
because
Amy,
yeah.
there's a lot let's stay on this for a bit because I wanna
Sure.
pay homage to, a subject that we cover quite, readily on this show, having to do with the ET contact phenomenon, and that is, there's been kind of a debate as to whether you call it the abduction phenomenon or the contact phenomenon is still happening. Now, that's a blanket question, and I think it's a
Um,
loaded question. But
yeah,
before you answer, the answer is yes for some and no for some. It's gone up exponentially for some. Memories of contact are coming. So I think we're seeing a myriad of things on this side. And from my research, unequivocally, there is definitely I don't know whether it comes in waves or it's totally subjective, but go ahead,
uh-huh.
Amy. What are your thoughts on that?
So I feel when I'm being shown, I do believe that we're gonna have more um contact, more it coming out more. with extraterrestrial life. But what I also feel like it's like I'm being shown a dam that is broken, and now it's going to flood out. It's not going to be just one or two. It's going to be a flood. And I keep getting July, and I don't know why keep getting July, but it looks like it's a hot summer, and there's more. It's coming out in the mainstream, I believe. That's what I'm hearing
Hmm.
with all this.
The question is what and to what degree. We'll cover this more on the
Oh, I
current
think it's going to be
question.
a. I think it's going to be a big degree from what I'm seeing. So if I'm seeing a dam, dam holding the water, and it's flooding, it broke the dam. It's going to be huge. I think it's going to be so pivotal that, like I said, there's some people walking around still. I mean, like when I saw the movie Men in Black, and he said there's a lot of people, there's a lot of extraterrestrials walking amongst us.
Mhm.
I resonated with that comment, or that line in that movie, because, well, they do that anyway. Hollywood predictive programming. They predict, they try to show us what they're going to do anyway. But I
Or what's already
believe,
happening. What's
yeah,
already happening, yeah.
yeah. So Men in Black, I believe that it's just going to come out more into the open, and it's going to flood. It's like, and it's going to scare some of these normies. I call them normies, that are walking around oblivious to it.
Right, right. No, there's no doubt. We're in the age of revelation, you guys. So I think
Yes.
revelation from all perspectives are primed to the dam is going to break in a good
Yeah.
way. Ultimately it's
It's good.
all in a good way. It's
Okay.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you watch like Star Trek or Star Wars, those movies, I believe that's our future. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I feel. I think we're getting a glimpse into our future with different races and different alien races and extraterrestrials.
Hmm.
That's just my feeling, anyway.
Revelation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. We have another question from Strum and I'm not even going to try.
Don't
I'm
even go
not
there. We
even
got the
gonna try.
question.
Let me just get to the question. Thank you for the question. It is the following. Doesn't the start and date of Mercury retrograde depend on the location? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, where they are on the
Absolutely.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
because we have 24 time zones. And
excuse me.
then, like you're up there ahead of us. I don't know, like England's 6 or 7 hours ahead of us. So yes, absolutely. It depends on where you are on the planet, what time zone you're in. So yeah, so they would be 6 hours ahead of us. There's an astrologer that I listen to on YouTube that she's in London, and she always says the date before, the day before.
Sure.
you know.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Well, I think what this individual, I'm going to call you strumming my hand with his strumming the
Strummin'
you know
Ronan.
that
Strummin'
song,
Ronan.
right?
Yeah.
Strumming. I'm wondering if you're talking about the interpretation of when it begins and ends, depending on where you
Yes.
are, rather than the time zone, because
Mhm.
obviously the time zone is going to predicate when it technically begins and ends. But I'm wondering if there's a different philosophy around when it begins and ends, depending on where you are. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if that's what you were talking about,
Yeah.
strumming. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
It, I
Either
mean,
way, either way,
yeah.
I say when we're talking about retrograde. By the way, guys, I've done a couple of shows on retrograde. I am determined to find more because I have found some very positive things that we can do during retrograde.
Yes.
There are lots of things that can be harnessed. And I think that you can sort of blend the idea of numbers along with I'm not at all an astrological guru, not even close. But I think that the two are compatible. They can be compatible. So
Yes.
we can use things like the Mercury retrograde where it appears that the planet Mercury is going backwards when it actually isn't. It's an illusion, but there are definitely
Right.
very real effects. So
Right.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Do we have another question? Go go. Can't you interpret my birthday numbers? Great. They
Yeah.
are. I'll let
Yes.
you. You're
Yeah. When
welcome,
you,
go go.
I got to do, oh, you're a Pisces. You're March 17th. God, you're an old soul. Let me do the math real fast here. I do it old school.
Forgive me, guys. I'm dealing with allergies, so
Hmm.
doing a little coughing.
I know. Okay. Hmm. So we got, I believe, a life path number 7 here, which is questioning things. It's the beginning of spirituality, looking deeper within, being part of the universe. Let me see what I'm going to do an example, Alexis. Can I use this guy as an example, like with just
You
the light
most certainly
path?
can, as
And
long
then we're
as
going to do what year you're going into 2024 here. Don't mind my math. It's been a long time since I've been in school. Huh. Okay.
let's see if I
Everybody
can do
has
it.
a
8,
different like
9, 10, 11, 12,
yeah. So we're
uh,
going into an 8. Oh,
31.
you're going into a 1 year personally, besides the 8 year. Am I doing the math right?
I'm trying to, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing it with my fingers. Let's see. Well, Gogo, you know that what maybe we should have Gogo do this and come back and basically he would be adding up the third month, the 17th day, and
Right.
1985,
Yes.
and you want to bring
And
it down. You want to bring it down to a single digit. You
right,
want to
which
bring it
is
down to a single digit. So
which
if
I
maybe if
think I think his number is a personal life path number of a 7.
go and check on your calculator, come back and let us know if that's what if we're all making sure we're doing the math
We're
right.
making
Let us
yeah,
know.
because I've got and plus I'm part Gogo, I'm part Croatian. My grandfather came right from Zagreb, Croatia
I
in the
love it.
1920s. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. In the meantime, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh,
you. Love you guys. Love you guys. Any more questions? Do we have any more questions? I'm sure we do. I'm sure we do. I have a question while we're waiting for our next
sure.
question to come up.
Sure.
I don't know, and it's a question for the audience as well as Amy. And Amy, you and I talked about this offline a little bit. 55 is probably the most predominant, persistent number that I see. Now we're moving into what we call the repeating or angel numbers or angle numbers. On behalf of the audience, if there's anyone that's seeing 55, like I see it, I think I've talked about it on a show or
Yeah.
two in the past. What kind of energy are we talking about there? Where's the influence? Where's the message?
I just got a message for you, Alexis, regarding that. So we talk about adding 55 up to add up to
A
what is it?
one.
A 1. Learning to deal with the changes in a healthy way one time, like by yourself, or I shouldn't say, using your own inner guidance to deal with the changes and navigate through those changes. It
Okay.
comes back down to you because 1 is working with self, working with creator, working with
Hmm.
source, and using your intuition to navigate through those changes. Like that pipe, I understand about the pipe, no, the pipe problems in the water. It's usually emotions. There's some kind of emotions that are overflowing within ourselves when we have a
Okay.
freaky
We had
pipe.
a little pipe issue this morning, but I digress. I digress. Um, let's see. Where shall we go from here? Again, I'm going to remind you, Lori, put that link up if you all want. I want you guys, if you want to do the 30-minute reading. I don't know how long it's going to be, so that's why I'm saying go grab it. You know, particularly at the end of this year, going into next year, I'm sure you'll want to. And I
Mhm.
know whether it's with Amy or somebody else in their amazing network, they can go into more
They-
depth and really spend time with
yeah.
you, just you. So it's a great deal. So please try to grab that. In the meantime, okay. Oh, spiritual
Ooh,
warrior. This
I
sounds
love this.
exciting. I'll be speaking at a wellness workshop covering crystals, oils, incense, and mindfulness practices. It's going to be on 111 next year on the new moon. Any thoughts? Feels like a jumping off point.
It is.
Congratulations. Have fun. That should be
Yes,
fun.
that's well, you're a teacher of some sort, spiritual warrior, and I feel like you're going to teach people how to deal with there's still their personal changes. There's still people becoming self-aware. We're not going to use awakening, self-aware, and I feel like your light is going to really shine on those that need your help right now in the different healing modalities you just mentioned. You know, crystals, oils, incense, mindfulness, breathing, whatever it is, it is a jumping off point for you on the new moon, which is awesome. New moon, new things, right? And then full moon is ending things. But for you, it just feels like your light, your beacon of light is going to shine greater and greater. And you're going to help people through this transition that these baby, I call them baby souls that are coming through and finally figuring out, okay, I need help with this. You're going to help be their guide.
The dates are very significant. You've
I
got
love it.
111 and you've got the new
Yes.
moon, which is
I,
great.
Yeah. Oh, you're 33. Wow, you're trying to find balance in your You're another ascended master, 33. Actually, you have a lot more help than some of the ascended master numbers because you're surrounded by them. And I feel like trying to find balance within yourself with all you got a big dharma or learning. You're a teacher, honey. You're definitely a teacher. And this, let's go back to that 111, that you're jumping off, you're becoming your teacher, what you were meant to do. You're on purpose.
Fantastic. As we get ready to round out the session and close down, this has been great. I really want to hear from you guys. Again, I'm always appealing to the audience because you're right. We do have a spiritual group and a very
Mm-hmm.
sensitive and inquisitive group of individuals. And I know that you're getting a lot of impressions on your own. And I say never, ever underestimate what you're getting. I don't care how subtle or nuanced it may
Mm-hmm.
be. So, what are your thoughts on uh, what 2024 will bring? And when I ask the question, I'm not asking it necessarily for you as an individual. Of course, you are part of this
Mm-hmm.
collective. I'm talking about the collective, though. What sense are you getting? Is it a sense of foreboding? Is it a sense of excitement? Is it a sense of neutrality? What are you feeling? Are you feeling calm? Are you, because I believe, like with anything, you'll get a little bit of a taste of what the following period will bring, even from a
Mm-hmm.
feeling perspective, just prior to it happening. So, what are we? Maybe Lori can put up a few things. I'm really curious to know what you guys are
Yeah.
getting. Dreams, you know, y- insomnia. What are you feeling emotionally? What's happening emotionally with you? Are you do you feel like you're tapping into some sort of a broader um, kind of framework? What are your thoughts? Let's see if we come up with anything here. In the meantime, as people are gathering their thoughts on that, because I know that there are people that are
Mm-hmm.
definitely getting a sense of things to come. Amy, tell us more about where we can find you. Now, do you have a podcast as well as people are gathering their thoughts? Just want to.
Yes, but I work mostly through Psychic Source. So you can find me on the platform. I'm Amy. I'm 7886. I'm on most of the time. I love
Also
my
known as
work.
Psychic Amy, right?
Psychic Amy. Yes, I'm psychic and been like this all my life. Psychic Source has wonderful readers, all different types. They did a really good job of, getting different talents together. But
Hmm.
um, but I work mostly through Psychic Source, and
Okay.
yeah, and I'm on here a lot, because I love my job. I
I
love
love
helping
it.
you guys further along on your path, getting to where
Absolutely.
being the vehicle or the messenger to where you need to be.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, listen, if we don't have any comments here, I'm just going to read a few. Thank you, lovelies. Have a beautiful Christmas and an awesome 2024. Thank you. She just passed right by real quick. Eve, thank you. It was amazing having you, and it's always good to have you in the community. And it's been a while. I got to meet Amy. I got to meet Eve recently in Las Vegas, and
Oh,
it was a pleasure at a
nice.
conference that I had the pleasure of speaking at. Wajipa, let's see what she's saying. I think it'll be harder for those who are still asleep.
Yeah,
Definitely more growth. Okay, let's look at this for a minute. I think it will
sure.
be harder for those who are still asleep. Defiantly more, definitely more growth personally and
Yes,
collectively.
definitely.
Did you mean defiantly or definitely? Or was that a Freudian slip?
Defiantly is a good word because I've got people
Defiantly.
that, yeah, there's a couple neighbors. I just, Alexis, I just moved, so I met one that is going to be defiantly what awakened. Okay, I'll just tell you. I was like, man, you are really stuck there, girl. But
Some people are not meant to look. I
no, some
always
people are not
say
meant to. Yes,
no
yes.
matter the path that a person chooses, whether they're conscious of it or not, I just can't believe that their life in any way, shape, or form, even if they seem to be dead asleep, is in vain. Everybody has a purpose, and I've got to believe that ultimately everyone will be okay, whatever
Oh yeah,
okay is for them.
yeah.
So love those that you disagree with the most. And
Yes.
in the act of love, perhaps there will be that silent nudge to get them to
Yes.
see what you
Yes.
may be able to see clearly. So we'll leave it at that. Live Light says, I feel the past 5+ years have been cleaning up loose ends, letting go of old ways of being, leading into a new life, including new career, more creativity, new avenues. I love that. I
Yes,
love that.
definitely.
Yeah. I feel there will be a lot of chaos as people suddenly become more psychically powerful. That's interesting,
Yeah.
Vic. It could very well be. Look, when people start to recognize with something that has been dormant for so long, it can cause chaos. It can cause trauma. It's like, hitting your head, which hurts. But have you
Mhm.
heard of people that have fallen and hit their head and suddenly they become more psychic? I'm using a very harsh example,
Yep.
but sometimes it takes a bop to wake people up, and
Yes.
chaos can go with that. So, yeah. Peter, thank you so much, my
Mm.
friend. We appreciate you being here. I
Thank
think this
you.
may be your first time in the chat. I'm not sure, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas and sending love to
Oh.
both of you. And I'm sending
Aw.
it back to you, Sandra. Thank
Same
you.
here, honey. Same here. Beautiful ladies. Oh, what a beautiful soul. All of you are beautiful souls.
Well, this has been beautiful and long awaited. And I tell you what, one promise I'm going to make for you in 2024, and that is that we are going to do this again and again. If you like the live stream, it's been a long time. I think the last live stream I did was with my buddy Julia Cannon
Oh,
from
wow.
QHHT,
Oh,
Dolores's
wow.
daughter.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, that was the
Yeah. Oh,
last
I
one we
love that.
did.
I love that.
So
That's great.
we're going to be doing more of those in 2024 for sure. Amy, my friend, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You the bomb. I appreciate you. And I
I
think after we sign off, you can stay on with me for a minute. We can have a proper goodbye. But I'm gonna say ta-ta to everyone. Lori, out there in Pursuing X. Thank you to Lori and Pursuing X for doing always a fantastic job moderating our wonderful live stream today.
Thank
But
you.
for now, God bless you. I love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful rest of the holiday. And I'll see you in 2024. We may have another episode. I might be able to squeeze in before the end of the year. But in case I don't, I'll definitely see you next year. All right. We're going to sign off for now. The
Bye,
stream has ended.
everyone.